grew up in Buffalo, and we had a nuclear accident in the mid-'70s called 3 Mile Island, and I was a teenager and I heard about that, and I really got interested in clean energy at that point. And people were in the 70s talking about clean energy. It took until now for people to, for us to really deploy it, but at that point I got interested in the environment and I started becoming an energy activist. She didn't name the individual photographs. I do have information about them if we want to. When I was 13, my parents sent me to live in a rural village in Kenya with some relatives. And that was an amazing experience. It was also challenging because I had never seen poverty like that. And sometimes it's important that I remind people that just because there's poverty doesn't mean everything is sad. It was really joyful, it was wonderful, people were so hospitable and loving and smart, and it's just, they didn't have the same opportunities that I had due to just an accident of birth. I was born lucky. Let There Be Light International is a nonprofit, and we are dedicated to fighting global climate change as well as global poverty. And what we do is we donate solar lights to very vulnerable families in off-grid parts of Africa. We are focused on Uganda and Malawi, and we work with local organizations who know who the most vulnerable people are. So, for instance, a handicapped elder or a family with young children or a new mother, and most people will use very dangerous kerosene lights, and so we get those out of their homes and we donate some safe solar lights. Okay, so it's $15 per light. So you divide that by, you divide the cost of the $75 basket by 15, and then you multiply it by 5.4.
Okay.
Well, there's two main reasons that I focused on solar lights, and one is because people who are using kerosene and living in extreme poverty, they really need to have some access to lighting if they're going to be keeping their families safe, if they're going to be able to study at night. And so I recognize that this was a big unmet need. There's a lot of people selling lights, but there aren't people who are actually finding people who can't purchase lights and then donating them. So that's one reason. Another reason is that when people burn kerosene, it's incredibly bad for the environment. And as we all know, climate change is an issue all of us are dealing with. And so in fact, it's a little bit selfish too. This is an example of a solar light that we distribute. This is, it is very helpful, and you can't be burned, so the children are safe. It's on this kind of stand, so you can hang it from the ceiling, and it gives very good light. You put it in the sunlight, and it will have on a full day's charge, it will work for about 70 hours on the low level. This is the low level. And many of the elders will keep it on all night to keep the snakes from biting them or the rats from biting them. And it also, a lot of parents of handicapped children will keep it on this level so that they can care for their children. Well, thank you for asking. Yes. If you don't have access to electricity in your home, when the sun goes down, you either light a very dirty and dangerous little kerosene light, or activity stops. So that impacts productive behavior. If you have a shop, the shop's closed. But if you're using the traditional methods of burning kerosene, which about 1.1 billion people in this world are still doing, which is 1 in 7 people are still using these dangerous ways of getting light, what's happening is that there are big health impacts for the children, especially the under 5. Rates of pneumonia are very, very high. Many people I speak with, after they've gotten a solar light from us, they'll say now they no longer have all the black stuff in their nose every morning. Another health impact is that children are burned. About 20% of the homes have had a child burned by these lights that were addressing their need. Another thing that people don't talk often about is the high rates of poisoning. Because families will go, if you're extremely poor, you're not buying an entire liter of kerosene. You're going to the market, you're getting a little baggie of kerosene, and you're then putting it into your light. But sometimes children will drink this. So this is John. He is an elder who has some handicaps, and he lives in a home that is highly flammable. As you can see, it's thatched roof, and these are some of the most dangerous situations to have, this open flame lighting. And so John says that he wishes we could give solar to everyone in his community.